Welcome to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
Welcome to the Gateway Podcast, broadcasting from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slips through the cracks. We are live on United Public Radio Network 107.7 FM, New Orleans. I'm your host this evening, C.L. Thomas. Tonight we're joined by healer and spirit artist Carm O'Sullivan to discuss how intuition guides healing, purpose, and life direction. With the new year coming in, I thought this would be a really great topic for all of us. But before we get into that, you've been listening to Into the Night with Sean Kelly. I think Sean had the night off tonight, so he might have done a rerun. But he'll come back again this Sunday at 5 o'clock Pacific time. It's currently 51 degrees here in Mojave, and it's cloudy. I just love wintertime in Las Vegas. The surrounding mountains right now are all covered in snow, and it just looks like a fairyland or something. It's really cool. Of course, in the valley, it's not snowy, but it's nice. It's a little cold by Vegas standards, but it's just pretty out. I hope everyone had a really good holiday. So over the weekend, I went to a ghost town dig with a couple other people with a metal detector to look for old coins and things like that. And the place we went to was Armagosa Valley. It was a little place right in between Death Valley and Tecopa. Well, I didn't find any coins. I did get a few EVPs again. I always take a little EVP recorder with me. And I have to tell you guys about Armagosa really quick before I get into my guests. So I've been out. You guys all know about Armagosa, right? Armagosa Opry House. It's been on Ghost Adventures. It's been on a lot of different TV shows now. But I've been out there a couple times and stayed the night. And both times I was there, I stayed in the same room. It's right next to where that mirror is at the end of the hallway. And those that's been there know exactly what I'm talking about. So the lady, Marta Beckett, is the one who bought this place, and she tried to turn it into a stage, like an opera house for her to perform in. And she came out of New York City, but she never really quite had the funding to completely restore this place. So part of the building she turned into little rooms and things that you could stay at. And then she took there was a theater house there where they would have church. And she took that room and turned it into her stage. And she kind of painted her own audience on the walls and everything. It looks great. It looks really pretty the way she did it. But next to that, there's a big wing where she completely boarded up because A, she didn't have the funds to do that. And B, the story is she said that it was so haunted that she wanted to leave that part to the spirits. I used to not believe that. I just thought, well, maybe she didn't have the funds to fix it up, and so that was her way of dealing with it. But now that this is my third time I've been there, and I didn't stay the night. You really can't stay there anymore because of the flooding. But I come across the same spirit every time I go, and his name is Tom. He calls himself Tommy. And the 2 nights I stayed there, I didn't get any sleep. And it was because every time I would ask the spirit's name, he would say his name was Tom. It would come out on EVPs. It came out on the I forget what it's called. There's another thing that they use. It would come out on that as well, the spirit box. And I had no idea who this guy was, right? He just kept coming up. So there's a little cemetery that I noticed this past weekend that I stopped at, and it's just a little ways down the road from where the Armagosa Valley Hotel is. And sure enough, there's a Tom buried there, and it's within the last decade. So, and I also I had a recorder with me again, and again I caught the name Tom, really quick. It said Tom, so it's something I'm going to have to look into a little more. But Armagosa Valley it's getting kind of sad. It's one of my favorite places around Death Valley, but we've had several floods in the last 2 years now. There's a lake in the middle of Death Valley that's full again, too. It's the second time that this lake has filled up, and which is really unusual. This hasn't happened in over a century for Death Valley, and it's happened twice within just the last year and a half. So every time it rains, Armagosa Opry House gets flooded as well. It's built right over top of the underground river system, and so it gets flooded out pretty bad. And the adobe walls are actually just melting off the walls and everything. It's actually it's not good. It's really not good. I know there's a big fundraiser happening right now that they're trying to restore and save part of the building, but I think that I'm going to give it another year before they condemn the place, to be honest with you. Like, the entire back of the building has completely collapsed, just to give you an idea of how bad it is. And there's probably like 4 feet of mud back in there. And this is where Spooky Hollow, that whole section there, the roof caved in. So yeah, it's just not good. But I don't know about all you guys. I'm kind of been feeling a little bit down this week. I know it's like New Year's. I get like this all the time. Hi, Heidi. So a lot of it has to do with my dog passing away, which I'm still really sad about that too. But moving into a new year, there's always this anxiety, especially the older I get. It's like, what have I not accomplished? Where do I go from here? Just little things like planning, using spirit intuition to try to move forward is a big deal. So tonight's guest, she's a healer, a medium, and spirit artist. I met her back in November at a gallery in Colorado Springs with a good friend of mine, Scott Allen. So she's going to talk a little bit about intuition and using spirit to help push us forward. Carm, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much, CL, excuse me. I'm just so happy to be here tonight, and I love talking about intuition, spirit, all of it at all.
So I went to your show back in November. Was it November?
It was November, the 2nd or 3rd of November it was.
In Colorado Springs, and I met you for the first time.
Yeah.
And you were doing a gallery with my good friend, Scott Allen. And I was just so impressed about how you guys did this gallery reading. So you kind of went back and forth where Scott would do his reading, and he's such he has so much charisma when he's on stage.
He does.
But while he's doing that, you're already channeling the next spirit in, and you're actually sketching and drawing. And then when he's finished, you come on the floor and talk about the spirit that's come through.
That's the only way to work on stage. You have to be able to have a second person there, or a third, so you can draw, because no one wants to see you drawing, because I'm erasing and changing what I feel like is what's right and what's not serving the spirit well. But it works really well, and Scott's really fun to work with. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy overall. You've trained with Joe Shiel as well.
I did. I love Joe. He changed a lot of my work, which I loved, because he gave me the higher insight, I'd call it, to see, to do the work. It's really interesting. One thing I will always quote Joe saying was, we're not, as a medium, we're not working for the client. We're actually working for the spirit, because we owe it to them, because they're lowering their energy and we're raising ours to meet in the middle. And I love that, because when I realized that, I let go of any of the trust issues and allowed spirit to talk to me clearly and more defined.
Can you talk about that just a little bit more? Because I know so many people who are working on mediumship kind of struggle with the trusting themselves thing.
You know, it's funny. The biggest thing to make that biggest step to being a good medium is to let go of, am I right? Am I wrong? Why am I seeing this? And not saying something you're seeing or hearing or feeling. And then it comes out in the reading another way, which you knew already, but you didn't say it. So I decided one day, I'm just saying, I don't care what happens now. I don't care if they think I'm good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just going to serve the spirit up here and say what he's showing me and not worry about how it fits into the client's life. And so what I'll do is just say, this is what I am seeing, and I'm getting this, this, and this. Then I ask the client, do you understand this? And what can you take? And once they tell me I can take this and this and this, or I can take all of it. And usually they take all of it. Then I know I'm connected to spirit even more. So then it flows in bigger and brighter. And I think what I would say to practicing mediums is to trust by just saying what you see, no matter how silly it is, how weird it is, because those are the biggest aha moments you'll get. Like, how did that happen?
Whenever you get into these galleries and shows, how do you prepare yourself before doing it?
You know, it's funny. When I first started it, I didn't want to be doing stage platform. I was like, no. And I was shown a vision in a dream one time, and it was more a vision than a dream, that I was on stage, and I was really happy about being there. So I realized my guides and angels were telling me, get on stage and just do the platform. And that is actually my favorite place to be now. Once you get over that first hump of that first stage performance, you get into this groove, and it brings out an amazing trust, because you know someone in the room is there to own the spirit. And it's funny because some people go, oh my God, there's 100 people coming tonight. I'm like, great. We have more people in the audience and more spirits. It doesn't matter if there's 5 people or 100 people. It's the same energy. And you get more, it's interesting, you get more people or more spirits talking to you, but the only thing you have to be careful of is blending too much. And that's another thing that when you're on platform, blending can happen. And what I mean by blending is you'll have like 2 grandmas coming forward and they're competing to talk to you. And so you start thinking it's one because you're hearing one and the other one. So you have to kind of figure out, do I have 1 person or 2 people? So that's kind of a problem when you're on a platform. You might be blending a little bit because they're all kind of loud and noisy.
I remember at that gallery after you guys were finished, Scott came on the stage and kind of explained a little bit if they missed anybody or if they he couldn't get to everybody, something like that. And then he said he compared it to the show Ghost, where the girl was in the room and you had like 10 spirits talking at once. It's kind of like that, right?
We know, it's really funny. It is like that. Like what he did was he said, everybody has a mom, no matter you know your mom or not. He goes, all of you start talking to your mother right now on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And all these people in the audience are going, ah. And he goes, now you know what we are really hearing. And it was funny because I did a bus tour at a cemetery and doing readings at different spots at the cemetery. And when I first stepped into the first reading, it was like that. Thousands and thousands of voices coming to me. So I had to take a breath and go straight up again and go, okay, 1 and 1 only.
That the only time that ever happens to me is in some of the ghost towns that I go to are like that for some reason.
Noisy.
Yeah.
It's weird how they can the voices can be so overwhelming somewhat. But then what happens is you start delineating and the loudest voice comes forward, or the most important voice. Like I'll say to the spirit, I'll say, one of you come forward and only one. And usually they're graceful enough to push one person forward. Have you ever asked them to step back and have one person step forward?
I have not. And you know why? Because it's a little different for Scott and I talked about this too, where it's a little different for every medium and how they work. For me, it's not so much that they're talking first. Like I don't hear their voice first. I see them first.
So do you see them physically, or do you see them in the third eye?
It's kind of like it's hard to explain. They're more like flashes.
Okay.
I guess. So I guess third eye. I guess third eye. So I'll see them visually, and that's why I'm able to sketch and draw them. Like I try to do that first before anything, because I see them so clearly, and I try to get down as much as possible that way first, and then listen.
You know, what's funny is when I started sketching, is because I couldn't connect to the spirit as easily as I could. So once I started sketching, it kind of took me out of that fear and put me just into that pad of paper and being present for the spirit. And then once that happens, I'm talking to them at the same time as I'm sketching, if I'm sitting with a client individually. And what I'll do is I'll sketch them the whole time I'm talking to the client about what they're saying to me, the family member or the loved one. And then I show them the picture at the end, which I think has more bang for the buck, you know, at the end.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's amazing what you do. It really is. I just loved how you guys did that. And after your reading, you ripped off the sheet of paper and you gave it to them. And it just works.
You know, it's funny is because that's a big trust thing. I go, because you're handing a piece of paper and you have no idea if this is really what dad looks like. And the amazing thing is my clients will send me a real picture afterward, and the real picture matches. And I'm not an artist. I draw, I sketch them, and I kind of call it cartooning, but they match up. There's something about it in the picture that you can see their pure essence of who they were. And I think it's physical. Having a physical copy of something for someone is really important, because they can go look back at it and go, my God, my dad was there, or, you know, whoever it was.
One of the things that I feel like a lot of people miss out on in the paranormal community, and the people who want to, you know, there's a lot of people that take these classes to be mediums and to kind of learn how to tap into that vibrational world, but they use it more often to, how should I put this? They want to be the next medium of Florida or New York, or whatever it may be, right? And one of the things that they really miss is that you can use the spirit world as almost like guides and everything for your own life, for like healing, for life purpose, direction, all of the above.
I think tapping into the spirit world, first off, I mean, wanting to be a medium, to be famous, or to, you know, have some, you know, bigger name out there, to me, it's better to just know to do the work well and everything will show up. And I love, it's funny because I've had spirit show up, like my father-in-law has showed up in readings, and I was very close to my father-in-law. But the funniest, the first time he ever did was with this gentleman. I had 3 men spirits come through for this woman. And through the reading, I found out they had to know each other in life. And I didn't know this woman. And they were in California, which I grew up in California, and so did my man. And I found out later that he was best friends with one of the spirits. Think about that. So he shows up to help me gather information. So here you go. You use your guide. I could consider him a guide. And he has shown up again too. Can't remember the other one, but it was very interesting. Like when I see military, he was a military colonel, full colonel. So I think people should, if you connect to your guides and angels first, and start knowing how to go up, and going up means it's almost, if you meditate, it's that higher realm, but yet it's it's a level up here that you kind of float in and you just trust, but you've stepped away from yourself and you're stepped away from yourself and you allow the spirit to step in. And that's where I feel the best readings occur, is when you've allowed them to come, not into you, but close enough that you're kind of blended, you and the spirit, if that makes sense.
It does. And you can use this for life direction and purpose too, right?
Absolutely. I tell my clients, you can talk to your loved ones just as easily as I can if you start spending time quietly and asking them questions and trusting what you're getting. And you check your ego at the door. And I'm teaching a class coming up. I just taught a class recently. I love to teach. And so I just taught a class recently, how do you connect to your own loved ones? And that was a really fun class to teach, because there's different techniques you can get to let the client feel their father. Like, how do you feel if you're feeling them, or if you're hearing them, or smelling them, or seeing them? So teaching the clairs really helps understanding your gifts of the clairs, which is clairvoyancy, claircognizant, clairempathic, clairsentient, clairaudient, and a few more. But you can use, like for instance, my father comes to me all the time when I'm working on things, putting mechanical things together. He's always there talking in my ear. So I'm listening to him. Like one time I was fixing a garbage disposal, and I decided, I kind of felt like, I'm done with this. I'm just not gonna worry about it tonight. And my brother-in-law was helping me, by the way. We both went to bed that night. The next morning, I had a dream that night. My father said, just unplug it, plug it back in. It'll work for 6 days. Get a new one to me. And my brother-in-law, who doesn't believe in this world, he's very highly cognitive, and he just has a hard time accepting spirits. And he said, he gets up in the morning, he goes, I had the weirdest dream. I go, unplug it and plug it back in. He goes, yeah. And he goes, you need to get a new one too. And it's true. It was true. I bought the new garbage disposal, and I waited for that one to stop working, which was 6 days. It was wild. So yes, your loved ones can come through and help you, especially if they helped you in life mechanic. Like my dad was a mechanic. He could fix anything, and he designed things. So I always call him in as a spirit guide to say, Dad, what am I doing wrong if I'm stuck? Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. Heidi asked a question. This is going back from what we were talking about previously. How do you discern between residual and other energies?
Well, first off, residual energy feels different. If when I know when I'm working and calling in spirit, I know if I'm in a place, for instance, and I'm doing say, for instance, clearing a house, I'll know if it's residual energy, like looping energy. I'll know also if it's what they're picking up on is what happened in the house, the energy of the happening, or the actual spirit, because the actual spirit will talk to me. Mm-hmm. If it's residual, it just kind of keeps on going. I can feel the energy, but I know it's not live, is what I would call it. And I know that sounds weird, but I do feel, our loved ones are still living, but in a different area. So right. A stuck energy feels different than a passed through onto heaven, or whatever you want to call it. They feel different. The stuck energy compared to a one who's up, who's already passed through to the light, is the best way to say it. So a stuck energy feels, you feel them, they're not as light of an energy. They feel more weighted, is what I could say. Oh, kitty, love kitties. They're more weighted. And so when you feel that, it's really doing the work and getting validation. And I just know what everything feels like now. I've been doing it for 13 years, 14 years. And I don't usually clear houses anymore unless it's a dear friend or somebody who I'm close to. And I'll say, I'll come over and we'll take care of it. But I also want to say one thing. I will never talk to, it's very interesting. I'm very protected. And I only talk to high light energy beings. Mm-hmm. So unless there is a healing purpose for the lower energy to come through to help the client sitting in front of me. And that has happened twice in my time.
And do you mean like were these human entities?
I would say they're not
vibration?
healed energies. Oh God, how do I say this? Like for instance, I had a I want to call them a lower vibrating energy. I had a gentleman who it was weird. I think I can talk about this. I'm not going to mention names. I had a client come see me. She was a widow, and she was a young widow too. And I have a massage table in my healing room because I do Reiki and Healing Touch. So at one point I said to her, her husband was coming through, and I said, I need to jump on the massage table. I don't even know why, but I'm going to do it. I think I need to show you what he looks like. And her eyes are like huge. And I go, I know he died of a heart attack. I feel it. I go, but I want to show you why I'm sitting here. And I go, he's just showing me sitting on the massage table, so I'm imitating him. And she looked at me and she goes, yes, he died of a heart attack on a massage table with his mistress.
Oh my gosh.
But he was a low energy.
Wow.
There was a low energy about him, and I could feel it. And normally I probably wouldn't have let him come through, but there was a reason for it. He stuck around in my house for a couple days too. I couldn't get rid of him. I've never had that problem before either, or after. I won't have. That's another reason. He kind of liked the energy of the house. He was kind of a ladies' man, and he was bothering my daughter who's gifted, and she's talking to him in the middle of the night. No. He must go.
Wow. Yeah, that's I think there's probably a lot of ghosts like that around some of these ghost towns that are around here.
By the way, when you do go to the ghost towns, I mean, for people who are not aware, if you're a ghost attractor, a ghost magnet, I call it, like I was talking to you earlier, I picture Pigpen with a trail of dust. There are people who pick up ghosts and then they bring them home. So I call them ghost magnets. So you need to brush off, shake off, so you don't bring any low-lying energy or any energy home, because you don't want anybody visiting who's not welcome.
Right.
If that makes sense.
That happens to me every now and then, but I'm like you. I do a lot of meditation and calling on guides and things. And there's a technique that I use that I learned from the Gateway program through Robert Monroe. If you've heard of that. And the way he teaches you to do it is you call in spirit that is either equal or greater than you. So you never call in the lower vibration, and you kind of build a energy balloon around you that kind of protects you from everything else.
And that's kind of like what I do is I know my guides protect me at all points. And that's why they don't bug me usually. Like if I go to a haunted place and sleep overnight, I will not be bugged, because I tell them, no mas, will not have anybody. My sleep is valuable.
Does it mean that you don't notice they're there? Because no, you do notice they're there, but
yes, they don't actually wake you up.
Yeah,
they're respectful, is what I call it.
No,
go ahead.
Before I learned how to do all of that, though, I would be up all night with that kind of stuff, knocking and stuff. But for me, you know what it is that it's the stories that they tell. All of that sadness, I tend to think about that all the time.
Do you ever write it down? Like, do you ever take a pen to paper and write the story down and then release it? Is that what you do?
Yeah.
I love that. It's kind of connecting with history is what I call it sometimes too. But I don't take on this. Do you take on the sadness though? Because that's hard.
I do tend to do that. I do. And I'm trying to change that. It's been something I've been working on for the last year and a half. But yeah, I do. I'll carry that stuff around and think about it. And
do you recognize it? Because when it's not yours, it's theirs. And so do you know that's not your energy code, therefore you can...
I do now. Yes, I do. It's something I learned within the last couple of years. But it took me some time to learn that.
Well, I think the biggest thing in doing spirit work is the first thing you need to learn is protection and what's yours and what's not. Because there's so many empaths out there who don't know how to recognize when they're carrying other people's energies and then they're weighted down. I tell all my clients, I talk about protection at all levels. And you also know your level of, it's funny because I'll get people who call and want me to come clear their house. And I always talk to them on the phone, and then I can surmise, is this my pay grade or is it above my pay grade? Because I am not going to anything above my pay grade, and I know my pay grade. And because you can feel the energy, and therefore I will step back if it's something that's not for me. I'll give it to somebody else. I have a Cuban clearer who loves the demonic side of it, and I'm like, no, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the questions that I get asked a lot is since we kind of headed down that road a little bit, when there's a lot of people in some classes that will say stuff like they're afraid of calling up the wrong spirit as a medium, or all of that sort of thing. They're afraid of getting possessed. I've heard all kinds of things around the medium side, and then it's because they're watching these TV shows where there's
not mediumship.
Yeah. For instance, Goldfield Hotel, there's a medium on TV that gets possessed every time he goes there. And I go there all the time, and it's never happened to me to where I'm attacking people and all of this stuff. It just doesn't happen.
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I've never had any type of occurrence like that in my readings or in any of my clearings. I'm always really cautious, and I'm aware first off, and I don't want it. I think sometimes people find it fascinating to allow it, maybe. I don't know. But I'm like, no, thank you. And the only time I can say, I've had a few readings that have left me really sad afterward for a few days. And only a few, I've done thousands. But one was a family of 6 who lost their brother, the only son, to COVID. And the amount of grief in my little office that day was so palpable. And even though I gave him a wonderful reading, it still hurt when I went home, because you could still feel they missed him tremendously. And it took me a few days to take it off. I finally had to say, this is enough. I can't carry this anymore. But it is hard when we do the work, not to get possessed, but maybe to take on some of the sad readings that you get. A child who died too soon, or even like a wife and a husband, I had a wife who just couldn't get over her husband's death, and he was there telling her, you need to move on. And I saw her twice. It took her twice to kind of hear more, to let go of missing him so much. And grief it's a journey. And it's something that I've lost family members, but not a child, or lost a husband. To me, that's such a hard experience. Such a hard experience.
Yeah. It is. I've lost a friend. I was pretty close. It was 10 years ago, but you're right. It's a long road.
It is. And I think the flashes come back, the waves, I guess would be better to say it. But I have a dear friend who's, she still misses her husband. She ended up turning into a medium. She's very good. But it's been 5 years, and she's still going through the waves of grief. And I don't get it, because I haven't walked that road completely, so I don't judge it. But I feel for her, and I feel for the people who have lost children to suicide, or children to murder. It's a sad world.
A part of what you do, though, you're a healer. How do you help somebody
to get over the grief?
Not so much because you can't help someone get over the grief, but I guess to kind of move over the hump a little bit.
I call it moving through it. I call it It's what I do with a lot of my clients who are really grieving is I offer healing touch Reiki. I'm certified in healing touch, which is a bioenergetic nurses program that was started in 1990s. And I walked hospital floors for 5 years doing it. And I was also certified in Reiki, and I'm a master Reiki, medical Reiki master, and also a Reiki teacher, but I don't teach Reiki. But I offer them healing work. And what I've been told by a lot of the people who are grieving, that it changed them. It changes them. And I had a gentleman get off the table who was grieving his wife, and he goes, Carm, I feel so much better. It's just something, I think there's a shift when you can do the healing work, and it's the hands-on healing.
It's interesting. Is it, you've been to Lilydale, right?
No, I haven't. I want to.
You should definitely go. They have, I forget what it's called. It's like the healing house or the healing church, or there's a
Ooh.
building there that they use only for healing ceremonies. And so, and it's all a lot of Reiki. You go in there and you're not allowed to talk when you're in there. You just go and you meditate quietly, and then they'll come to you and they'll do Reiki over you. It's amazing. It's really amazing.
I love that, because to me, I mean, when you walk into a space that someone's doing healing work, you feel it. Even if you're not needing it. Not everybody needs healing in my mind, but the energy in the room, I got to go one of these days.
You got to go there. It's the most incredible healing place I've ever been to.
I have to tell you, this is crazy, but this is a weird story. I'll tell you, I'm in Phoenix right now on vacation with my grandkids. And we went to the butterfly pavilion here, and I had never been to a butterfly pavilion, and I hadn't been doing any meditating or any of the work because we were on vacation. I walk into this place. It is the most Zen place. I was like, my whole body was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And these butterflies are flying by you, and the feeling of it, and there's music playing, of course, because they have the ambiance, which is amazing. But to me, it's a place I would go to heal, to write. And it was funny, my son said to me, he goes, Mom, there's like 5 other ladies just like you here walking around in this happy face. But healing can come in so many different ways. And think about walking into, like you said, into the room for healing, the Reiki room for healing, or walking into a church. Some people go to church and just sit in the church and feel that healing presence, or walking into a butterfly pavilion. It was amazing. It was like, I can't wait to go back. I'm going to go there and write, I decided.
Where is this place?
It's in Phoenix. It's an aquarium, and they have a butterfly arboretum. It's amazing. And I will tell you, the aquarium was wonderful, but the butterfly thing, oh my God, amazing.
I'll have to go check that out next time I go there.
You must, because it's well worth it. I think they charge $45, but it was like, to me, I'd go there and just, you can stay there all day. And I'm like, I could just sit there, and they have water and the sound and the air, because it's moist in there. It's beautiful. It's just, and the butterflies, thousands of them flying around. I had 6 or 7 land on me. I mean, it was just, if you sit still in the sun, they show up and land. Wow. And they're all different colors and species, big ones to small ones. Oh, amazing.
Heidi says there's one in Denver too.
I haven't been to that one, and I live in Colorado Springs, so now I have another place to go.
So what do you think about Colorado Springs? Because that place has a lot going on as well, especially that area where Garden of the Gods are. Not so much where the rocks are, but kind of behind it a little.
There is a lot of different places in Colorado Springs that have a lot of energy. Black Forest, huge. There's a swath of land in Black Forest, which it has one of the most haunted houses. First off, that it's been verified on, I think it was one of the big shows. I can't think of it, But these people have lived there since 1990, and there's orbs, there's flying lights, there's laser beams that happen in that house.
Oh,
And
wow.
I do believe it's underneath the property that's causing it, and I believe it's connected to the waterways underneath the property. And there's other houses I've cleared up there that have similar problems. It's scary. But there's a lot of haunted places. I just did a haunted bus tour. The second year I've done it. This company has a bus tour, and they do it all year round. They do different kind of bus tours. So they asked me at Halloween to be the resident medium. And the Manitou area has some hauntings. Old Colorado City, highly haunted, a couple places. And that's where the Garden of the Gods is, kind of in that little swath.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of healing there too, like healing the Ute trees in Fox Run Regional Park. There's some really cool areas that are just amazing. You go there and you can feel the energy of healing. And it's these beautiful trees that are called healing trees, and the Ute Indians created it.
Oh, I missed that. I'll have to go
you
back.
should, if you come, next time you come, I'll take you on a hike in Fox Run and show you those, because you can feel the energy there. You can also, Black Forest, I mean, it is creepy. I mean, I have a lot of friends who live up there, and there's houses that are perfectly fine, and then there's some houses that you're like, whoa, what's going on? And it's nothing to do with the house itself. I do believe it's an estuary underneath the water. And somebody said the Indians put some type of, I don't know if it's a curse, I don't believe really in curses, but some type of something placed on the land in that area. That's one mystery I've heard. So
That's interesting. You hear that same story a lot around Las Vegas and areas out here in the desert. And the story, it's that the Native Americans, because they were being pushed out,
right.
It's not a curse. It's more like they called up land spirits and elementals to kind of protect that land and make it so that nobody else can use that land, really.
I knew there was something else I couldn't figure out what it's called.
Yeah, I don't know the actual terminology for it, but that's kind of the gist. If they wanted their spirits, those land spirits, to keep the land and protect that land and make it so that nobody else can use it. So people are either scared off the property, or they'll have like a series of events happen to it, or there's always something.
Well, it's funny. I did a house clearing. If you've gone up to Cripple Creek, that's another place that you could go and, Cripple Creek, highly haunted. It's an old mining town. We got a call, a friend of mine who's also medium. She goes, I need some support. This is going to be a hard job. So we went together, and there was a house up on Cripple Creek that things were flying across the room, orbs everywhere. It was a miner who owned their original land. We felt I could see him in my mind's eye, and he was ornery. He's an ornery guy, and it took us almost 4 hours to get him out and to clear the space. And it was funny because I also told her, you need to do an Indian where you do a thanking of them. So you put you hang from the trees outside like a gifting to them of tobacco in material, and you hang it and you offer that to them, because there was some Indian influence too in the house. And we cleared it, and it's funny, we called them a couple days later and asked how they were doing, and they go, house is fine, but there's somebody knocking on our front door all the time now.
They want the tobacco.
Yeah, he was ornery because he said, it's my land, this is my place, this is mine. Like he was a stuck energy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how do you go about? Is it just how do you go about clearing that?
Well, we had to get him out first off, but it's really intention, and using everything is intention. So whatever tools you use, it's what intention you put toward it. Like the Indians used to think sage brought in spirit, and we're using it to take it out. Mm-hmm. But really what they would do is bring a good spirit in. So you're allowing the good spirits to come in, and whatever is negative goes out. But for instance, I had I had a visitor. My son had a friend come over, and the friend had lost a young man to drug overdose, and he came with him, the spirit. And it was weird because he was hanging out in my daughter's room because my daughter is also gifted but doesn't play. She was only 15 at the time, but her guitar kept strumming in the middle of the night. And so I finally sat down, and I had my friend, the same friend, we do a lot of work together. And I said, come over, I need to get a little help with this one. We figured out it was a young man. He was attached to the young man who came over. And he had passed away through a drug overdose. And he didn't want to go up because he thought he wouldn't go up to heaven because of old conditioning. So I ended up sitting in the middle of my basement with 2 chairs. I actually put 3 chairs because I called his grandfather in and asked him to come forward and talk to him. So I sat there with both the grandfather spirit and the grandson spirit, and we had a conversation. And I always bring Jesus in because I love Jesus. That's who I work with. And we just had a conversation, and he finally got over the fear, and he went up to the light. And there was no more strumming of the guitar after that clearing.
Oh, wow.
It's
I love
really,
that story.
it's really finding out what they're fearing, why they haven't gone. The old miner, we decided not to try to pass him on because he was stuck to the land, and that's where he wanted to be, and that's how he felt about it. He wasn't wanting to go anywhere. Some aren't going because they're fearing where they're going to go. They're going to go to hell because, this poor young man thought he had failed, and so he wasn't going to go to the light. And so you have to decipher why they're there.
What about children? You ever come across children who
are stuck? No.
Mm-hmm.
No, what's funny is I've never had an experience. I've read for families that have lost children. We had a lot of suicide back in Colorado Springs back about 8 years ago, and there were cluster suicides. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of clients who had children who had left because of suicide, and that's a whole nother ball game. But I've never found the children to be stuck. But I know there are ghosts that have stuck, because they're looking, like, for instance, I know there was a ghost at I think it was Denver. There, she was looking for her mom because there was a fire incident. So.
Got it. There's the dog. There's that dog.
The dog. Because the family has come home. They're going to walk a different way.
Hold on, I'm trying to keep this cat from climbing on. I keep forgetting to lock my cat out.
Oh.
Before I start this, and he likes to climb on the equipment for some reason. So I have to
These are always fun. I used to have cats. Now I have dogs.
So I forgot what I was going to ask you. There was another question. I got sidetracked.
About children, we were talking about children being stuck.
Yeah. You know how there's always ghost stories about kids and children with black eyes, and you hear all sorts of things like that. Does any of that really happen in your opinion?
I've never seen that. To me, if they have passed, they're of the light. Their egos have been, there's no fear. It's all love. It's all love up there. And the main things I find out through my readings, it's even the people who have failed, they feel they failed their loved ones. They'll come to say they're sorry. And what they tell me is they get to experience when they go up this, first off, a beautiful reunion of family, because it is home up there. And then what happens is they have this reflection time where they get to feel everything they did, good and bad, and they get to feel the other side of it. Like if they had hard words to a loved one, they'll feel what the loved one felt when they were having this argument. And so with that, they get a big resolution of what life is all about, what it was down here, what the learning process was. And with that too, what happens is they can clear the energy, or they can sit and kind of be in a reflective time for longer than, and there is no time, but they can be reflective. I've had family members come back who were very abusive to their wives, and they apologized. They talked about it, and they explained why they were abusive. For instance, their father abused them, or that's what they were taught. And so they give an explanation, even though it doesn't mean it's letting go of what they did. It's explaining more and putting the person more in the wheelchair. And that's what they do. They show me the wheelchair they were living in.
Let me ask you this along those lines before we wrap up. Is there truly forgiveness on the other side?
Absolutely. It's on the other side. In my mind, what I have been shown in all my readings, it's all about love in the end. And forgiveness is part of that. And they are asking, when they have done things to people here who are still here, they're usually always asking for forgiveness. I had a woman, this is a really interesting one. I had a beautiful Hispanic woman sit down with me, and her grandmother came through who raised her. And this little abuela, and with her little shoes, talked about her little town in Mexico. And even I got the name of the town in Mexico, which I never had heard of before. And all of a sudden, she finished up her conversation, and the next person comes in, and it's her mother, who's blonde-haired and blue-eyed. And I'm looking at this woman. I go, "Do you have a mom who died at 50, 52, blonde-haired, blue-eyed?" She goes, "I did." And she goes, "She's here to talk to you about age 13. And this woman kept saying to me, the spirit, I want to talk about age 13. I want her to know how much I had to feel what I did to her at age 13, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. But she kept putting physically, physically, physically. And I go, she wants to say she's sorry for what she did to you at age 13, especially physically. Do you understand that?" She goes, "My mother put me in the hospital at age 13 because she beat me so badly."
Oh, wow.
So that to me shows me that they can feel what occurred. She had to wear it up there to understand what she did down here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the girl, I mean, she needed to hear that because she never felt it when her mom was alive. So they do carry a weight. A lot of the spirits come through because they're carrying a weight, needing to let them know, "I'm sorry," if that makes sense. And I've had many, just, it helps to alleviate the sadness and the weight of understanding, so they can move forward. I had a couple whose son had muscular dystrophy, and he showed me both his parents holding a plug and unplugging it. So I knew what he meant. And then he danced around it. He danced around the plug and saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And he wanted to get across to his parents that, what you did for me was a gift of letting go of me and unplugging me, because he was on life support. I didn't know that at the time. They told me after the reading.
Wow. That's incredible.
And that's what they wanted to hear. They wanted to know if they did the right thing by unplugging him. Wow. So those are the reasons they come through. A lot of times, it's not come just to talk about lollipops and ice cream. They come to talk about the memories. They come to talk about the whys of what happened to them. They come to ask for forgiveness, or they come to give acknowledgement of how good these, because they're watching over them. Like, "Hey, we saw this. We saw the wedding, or we saw the great promotion you just got." They'll talk about all this stuff because they're still present in the life but they can't communicate unless they're with me or with another medium, or that person is listening to them too. Because I always want to know if my dad was at my wedding. I go, "Absolutely. He was dancing with you and he's showing me the song. Was that your song?" "Yes."
And that's just it. Anyone listening out there, if you can learn to, like Carm said, you can learn to hear from your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you teach classes on this.
I do. If you go to carmosullivan.com, I have one class coming up. I'll be teaching, it's the clairs to understand how to connect better to your intuition. And that's coming up online. It's in January. It's Saturday, 9 to 11 Mountain Time online. And we're going to take a clair a week. So we're going to go to clair. I believe we're going to do clairvoyancy first and then claircognizant the next week. We're going to have a clair of the week, and it's a 2-hour class. So I'll be doing exercises to help bring awareness for them to trust their intuition and how to connect better. And at the end, I'm hoping that we can connect to loved ones at the end, at the last 4th week. So that's kind of my goal. And I also teach intuitive training in person in Colorado Springs, and that's coming up February 28th and March 1st in Monument office I have. And then I'm doing a retreat with Scott Allen. I'm doing a retreat up in Boston area, which is really, oh my gosh, I am thinking of the town and I have to think of it. I'm having a mental moment. It's at the very tip, Provincetown, Massachusetts, and we're going to be doing a 3-day workshop on intuition and trusting.
Great. I might sign up for that class, depending on.
It's going to be fun. And Provincetown, if you haven't been there, it's amazing. It's a very quaint artist town. It's at the very tip. You see the little curl of Massachusetts. It's at the very tip, and you're surrounded by water, and water enhances the energy.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's been an honor to have you on.
Oh, I so appreciate meeting you and you coming to my event. That was so cool. And Scott talked so highly of you, so it was awesome. And
he talked really high about you too. He said, "You got to meet my friend." He was saying that for a while, so we finally got to meet.
Well, I'm glad you came. And if anybody ever wants to get a hold of me, just Carm O'Sullivan at carmosullivan.com. And you can text me. You can put my number on, I guess, if you have a follow-up.
I will.
That's how most people get a hold of me. And it's all word of mouth. I get texts a lot. And so I look forward to it. I hope you come out Colorado Springs way, and you have to look me up. We'll do some fun things.
I will. Definitely. Or I'll come up to Colorado, one of the two. Oh, real quick. I know we only got like a minute left, but can you talk about your Facebook page real quick?
All Things Spiritual.
Yes.
Oh, so All Things Spiritual, it's called All Things Spiritual Community. And we're building this page up to be a community of spiritualists. So if you're looking for a good medium in your town, we're going to have mediums all in different areas. We're going to have people who are healers, Reiki healers, people who are acupuncturists. Anybody who has a spiritual question can go to All Things Spiritual Co. and ask a question like, what does this mean? It's a way for people to connect spiritually, to ask any funny question, tarot question, ghost questions. What do I do if this is happening? So we have over 4,500 members right now and growing. And we started it in Colorado, and we're moving it out. So we're looking for other connectors who want to be ambassadors in town, who can also be in the forefront of leading groups. And we have meetups, in-person meetups. We have online meetups. We are going to be having circle groups. So it's just going to get better. And it was given to me by Spirit. They asked me to start this page. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And I have Rachel Ortega, who is helping me manage. She and I are.
I met her too. She's great too.
She's amazing. And so we're both kind of growing this community. So it's I call it the purple pages. So like the yellow, if you're older like me, the yellow pages were where you would go to find a plumber or to find a car repair person. All Things Spiritual Community or Co. is a place to find spiritual people or spiritual workers. So.
Well, thank you so much, Carm, for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate it. We are at the bottom of the hour. You've been listening to The Gateway, the broadcast from the edge of the Mojave where the strange slip through the cracks, live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM, New Orleans. And next week, I will not be here. I'll be playing a pre-record So stay tuned for that. It's with, well, I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a secret. It is a new show. It's just going to be a pre-record. Thank you all for listening, and until next time.